So, hi, Tammy Lowe, the Lazy Northern Gardener. And if you're like me, you like to follow people who are doing some fun things that you like to see, and you say, wow, I'd love to be able to do that. Some people have like big homesteads with lots of cattle, and I was like, oh, that'd be fun. Or they own a cow, or they own goats, or something like that. And that would be fun too. But we don't have the land for that. So I post things about from my homestead, which is 3/4 of an acre. So it's not a full acre, and it's on a very busy road. And we are surrounded by, well, to the south of us and to the west and east of us are suburbs. Not so far north of us yet, but there are suburbs all around us. And so my homestead it's just right for us right now. Even though I would like to have bigger stuff sometimes. And sometimes you might look at my channel and go, boy, I wish, I could have chickens. Or maybe you look at some of the arch stuff that we've got going on, like Josh's arches, or you look at the raised kitchen garden beds and you think, boy, I wish I had land. Boy, I wish I, owned a home. Or even had a balcony or like a patio or something that I could do things on. I feel you. We did, when I was married to my first husband, we did live in an apartment at the time, but we did not have any kind of balcony or patio or anything like that. And I was not really that big into gardening at that time. We moved from that apartment to a home. We rented a home down in Ferndale, and it had a yard, and the landlord said, go for it. You can plant whatever you like as long as it's not invasive and as long as you take care of it. And I was ecstatic, and that was exciting. So I did plant. And then when I bought my first home, I planted there too. And then we moved to Warren and blended 2 families together, mine and my husband's. There were 5 kids and 2 dogs and 3 cats and goldfish and turtles and all that kind of stuff. And so I did a lot of gardening there as well. And I was really fortunate that I could plant all around the perimeter of the yard and then the perimeter of the house. And, there was not a lot of empty space. And then we moved out here, and then I could plant some more. But that's not my point. My point is that if you want to grow things and let's say you don't have a balcony, you don't have a porch, or maybe your porch faces north, so you don't get a lot of sun ever. There are still ways you can garden if you'd like, okay? So the rule of thumb is that if you're growing for the roots or the leaves, 4 to 6 hours is all you need. If you're growing for the roots or the leaves, 4 to 6 hours is all you need. Now, if you're going to grow fruit, and when I say fruit, I mean tomatoes, I mean watermelon, I mean beans, I guess. Those need full sun, and even full sun it's not from sunrise to sunset. Full sun is technically about 6 to 8 hours. So it doesn't have to be the whole day. So what you can grow in shady areas, if you've got a shady area outside in the warm temperatures, you could grow herbs, and you can definitely grow greens. And when I say greens, I mean salad, arugula, Swiss chard, kale, cilantro, which is an herb, but it's also a green. You might be able to grow sweet peas or snap peas because they don't need as much sunshine, and those do actually like the cool weather. So does the cilantro. Cilantro likes the cool weather. You may be able to grow cabbage, carrots, radishes, beets, because those are root crops. So if you don't have a lot of sunshine, you can still grow those types of things, and you can grow them in containers if you have that outdoor space. Now, Tam, what if I don't have that outdoor space? I got nothing. I got no windows that face the sun, or you live in Michigan and in the wintertime it's terrible. There's no sun ever that would come in. Like I have my houseplants right now in my south facing window, and there's not a lot of sun that comes in, not these last couple days. And right now it's pretty cloudy, and we're gonna get snowmageddon. So to try to grow any kinds of foods, greens, in particular, I would have to do something different. So this is what I wanted to show you real quick, is that if you don't have the space, you can get one of these little greenhouses. They are not that expensive. This type of greenhouse, it comes with a plastic container that goes over the top as well. And I don't usually use that because the room I'm in, the second bedroom on the first floor, which is my office, it's very warm. So I don't have to, I don't have to keep that plastic over the top to keep it warm. Now, and also the other thing that I do with them is I put plastic lids on, like on the top shelf here, the top shelf right here. You can see that there's some plastic lids. They're like carry-out containers. So I don't need the whole plastic on it. I can just use the lids from the carry-out containers. And this other one on top has a separate lid, which I kind of like, because then once they start sprouting, the seeds start sprouting, I can just take them off and put them right under the lights. But there is no reason why you could not be growing things inside for you to eat. I could easily have spinach. I could have kale. I could have cilantro. I may be able to get away with chives too in here. Onions, not so much. I'm trying to grow the seedlings for the onions, and those are down. No. Onions are up here. And the seedlings for the onions are starting to grow right now. But if I want the big bulb onions, I have to put those outside somewhere. But you could definitely be growing greens in here. You could try, I grew last year, 2 years ago at my south-facing window, I ended up growing some corn and some beans, and in plastic cups, like drinking cups. And that was because I was going to take it to some kids, real young kids and like preschoolers. And the cups were see-through. So then the kids could see the roots, and then they could see what was growing on top. So I grew corn and beans and something else that was vining, I think it was. I was going to show them. I think it was a zinnia. It was not a vining one. It was a zinnia or something like that. But these are super easy to use. They're super easy to set up. They're lightweight. I really love that they roll around. So I can move it around. So it doesn't take a lot of space. They are about 2 feet wide. And I think it's about 5 foot tall, if that. And I also do drying. I do drying of the herbs with them as well. So you can see like that. But if you were to get something like this, it'd be super easy to set up. You can monitor the temperatures easy enough. I just have some cheap, like kid thermometers, like classroom thermometers, just to monitor. It says right now it's 75. I have cheap aluminum foil to increase the light inside this little greenhouse. And then there are lights you can get that are specifically called grow lights that you can do. I would not get the kind, like I have some right now that I have to plug in. See the plug there? And that's annoying because it takes up space on the tray, which I don't like. I would like it if they would be better if they plugged in over here, and you can just string them together. So like the one on the bottom here is plugged into the one on the top. And I also have it on a timer, which timers are not expensive. And the timer, these are kept on. And when the timer goes off, they turn off at night by themselves. And then if I needed to go on vacation, or if I had a really busy day and I didn't get around to handling them, they're going to take care of themselves. So I believe these were like $15 when I got them at the time. And that was a couple years ago. And then these lights, these little bendy lights, little laser LED lights, these were, I think, 20 per set. They clip on, and then you get to move it where you want them and bend them where you want to. So they can move up or down as the plants get bigger or smaller. This is also a good thing to have. This setup is also a good thing to have if you're going to go on vacation and you got your house plants. You can just put them right under the lights and they're going to grow just fine. So you can grow in small spaces, and you could grow in your apartment. A lot of times people are giving these away for free or selling them for cheap on Marketplace because they've tried to use them outside, and they're not as good outside as they would be inside. These could easily fit into a closet. They can fit into just a cubby space. And like I said, they are rollable, so you can move them around. And it does come apart. So if you needed to disassemble it when it's warm outside and then put it back together again, it doesn't take up a whole lot of space. Very lightweight, very easy to use. So this is something that you could do on the inside. So if you have any other questions about how to grow things indoors, like that you could eat in a small space, then let me know, and I will be glad to tell you. And I'm not sure what else to tell you. Let's see. If you ever happen to go to thrift stores, like I love thrift stores for things sometimes, you might be able to find like some of these. These are cafeteria trays from schools. And they're messy right now, I know. These I did buy these on Amazon. I did buy the black ones on Amazon. These green ones came with like a small like fodder starter kit. And they're really helpful because they're about, oh gosh, about a half an inch. Can you tell? About a half an inch deep. No, they're about a 3/4 of an inch deep or so. And all I have to do is fill the bottom with water, and it goes into the container through the bottom, and it keeps the top dry. These are very moist right now because they have seedlings in there. So you could easily, this is the top of a tote box. If you have some extra tote lids sitting around, seems like we always do. We never have the same amount of totes to lids. I don't know how it goes in your house, but for whatever reason, it doesn't always happen that way with us. So I just use it for my, this is the eucalyptus I started, but you can start all types of herbs. You could start basil. You could definitely have, I said cilantro. Oh gosh, what else? Oregano. You can start all kinds of things in something like this for your spices. You can start your greens, your kales. If you wanted to start, it's like if you have a small space outside and you want to start your seedlings inside, then this is a really easy way to do it. Okay. So this is Tammy Lowe, the Lazy Northern Gardener. Saying, yeah, you could do it too. It doesn't have to be big and fancy. It could just be enough for yourself. I have started things in like small containers and put them in the windowsill in the south-facing window in my kitchen. I put them in the south-facing window of my living room, and they grow really well. They don't need a lot of sunshine. So but if you don't have sunshine, again, go to the lighting system. Invest in that if you want to. And, not everyone is a fan of Amazon. But what I like about Amazon is that I can find something, I can look it up, find the product that I like, and I can put it on my wish list. So that when Christmas comes around and they're like, oh gosh, I got to buy for mom. I don't know what she wants. Or my husband says, well, what is she going to want for her birthday or whatever? You can put it on your wish list. And then they have the option of getting it for you. So and again, you may find lights already. Because people who, here's my warning. If you start doing this kind of system, it's really hard to stop. and people will trade up. So they might, maybe they, like I said, I wasn't in love with the white lights because of that cord that hangs down and takes up space over here, right there. So I will probably be replacing those lights at some point so I can fit more plants underneath the lights. So people will be selling them or giving them away through Marketplace, and it's another place to take a look at to get your supplies. And you don't even have to have this kind of shelf, really. You just basically need shelves, and you need trays, some kind of tray system to set your wet stuff on and to be able to water from underneath. So you could be doing this on shelves with maybe one of the clip lights if you wanted to do that. Another thing I have done in the past, and I'm just not doing this time, is you don't have to have, like I've seen people where they have like double lights on each shelf, double lights, lots and lots and lots and lots of lights. You don't have to do that. I have in the past, I have taken aluminum foil and just made like wings. Let's make sure you can see this. Made wings of aluminum foil to extend over maybe, gosh, what is that, 6 inches on either side of my lights, and attached it with duct tape on either side of the lights. And then the light was really reflected like wherever, right underneath the light. I don't know how else to say it, but I could have multiple plants. I could put these plants way over here. See, that cord's in the way. I don't like that. But I can fit more. Those are my lights, or my foil making noise. There we go. I could fit more plants on this shelf. It goes all the way to the edge. If I had a reflector here and a reflector there, and I could use just one light instead of multiples. Because the other part is that you are using electricity when you use these lights. These lights get warm, so there's a little bit of heat, which you need. Some seeds need some heat to start well, and others don't need any heat, and they don't like it if it's warm. But if you wanted to add little foil wings to the sides of these lights, that could work. And the other part is that if you get this set up with the covering over the top, the plastic over the top, if there's a power outage, you could slide that on, or you could just zip it closed if it was already there. And then you could take hot water in 2-liter bottles, or you can actually take hot water bottles, and you can lay them down at the very bottom of all your plants with that plastic on there, and they would not be harmed. They would not be harmed by like cooler temperatures if the power went out, especially in the wintertime. So that's just something to keep in mind too. Like our power goes out. It was going out at least once a year, like in the wintertime, at least once a year. And then we get storms in the spring and the fall. And sometimes it would just go out too. And so if I'm starting seeds, like right now, it's January. It's cold. So I'm starting cooler plants right now. But if you were growing your greens, or you're growing herbs, or you're trying to grow your peas, I've seen people grow tomatoes under lights in setups like this too. You can try it. What's the cost of a packet of tomato seeds, and see what happens, and some soil. So if the power did go out though, you can just put hot water bottles or 2-liter pop bottles underneath here inside the little tent, and that will keep enough heat going to keep your plants safe. Now, with mine, I have these trays, which would probably block the heat. So likely, if the power goes out here, and I'm always thinking about this stuff because I don't want to spend all this time and money and effort and energy for them all to just die. I don't know about you, but I'm not about that life. So if the power were to go out with mine, I would like to put the wrap around it I wouldn't worry about the sunshine as much because there's cloudy days in nature and it's not going to affect them one way or another. But I would wrap it up, and I would probably take the plants off these trays and just set them on the shelves, or open this up more, the spaces in between, so the heat can rise. Heat always rises, so it could rise and actually keep the plants a little bit warm, keep them from freezing. Okay, so that has been that about growing in small spaces, growing in rentals, growing in places that don't have any like sunshine windows. And if you're just coming in, I hope you can just kind of revisit it, start from the beginning when we're done. And if you have any other questions or any questions, I'd be glad to answer them for you. Any questions? No. Yes? No. So this has been Tammy Lowe, the Lazy Northern Gardener. And I wanted to make sure that I kind of touched on the smaller spaces gardening and indoor gardening. Just to let you know that it can be done. It doesn't always have to be big. Just something to nourish your body, something that actually grows and can nourish your body. So love you guys. Happy Friday, TGIF. And I will talk to you later.